new speed reading techniques for 2018. Read faster, learn faster, level up faster, absorb the knowledge of the mentors and the ancient teachers faster, more efficiently. Welcome in, much love, Trap here. And if you enjoy reading, great. You can still spend the same amount of time reading, but you'll be able to learn more in less time. Okay, so I'm gonna go over some techniques to read faster and well, keeping the comprehension the same or actually increasing it, some of the basics, and I'm going to go into some of the new techniques that I've personally developed for myself and share with you at the end. So first of all, a lot of my resources on this came, I've studied, okay, Tim Ferriss has a program. I took that in middle school or early high school. Tai Lopez has a program. I've taken that. I've also looked at a lot of stuff on YouTube. I've read a lot of books on how to read books, how to read a book being one of them. So there's some speed reading books. If you go to freelivinggoals.com/books, I've, since 2015, the last 2.5 years, read, 300 to 500 books and given most of those away. You can check my Amazon to see really what I've read, but so you know I'm serious about this. And the reason why is just, I want to learn faster. I do enjoy reading, but I don't want to be slow. I want to get through books faster, right? So a few keys, some basic stuff, skim or start with the back of the book and go and look at the structure of the book so you have an idea of what you're looking at. And then one of the main things is you're not necessarily the goal isn't to read every word, but to learn some useful stuff, to pull out some gold nuggets, right? That's a lot of what speed reading is about, is actually just being efficient, asking yourself, what do I want to get out of this book? What's my strategy? Maybe your goal is not to read every word, but it's to peck through and hunt through and find a few specific things and take those and apply them to your life. The most ideal is if you apply it to your life right away. You find something, learn something new, and you can actually add it into what you're doing. And that setting the intention is a huge part of that. By the way, I'm walking back on the country road, so you're gonna hear some cars coming with me. Forgot to mention, I have a few other videos on how to read faster, speed reading, and so on. They may pop up as related videos because of the name, but you can check and look at those as well. Now, I want to get into the technique of the eye technique and sub-vocalization technique. So there's some truth and myth on this. Now, basically, a lot of the supposed speed reading technique tells you you're not going to eye every word. You're going to take advantage of your peripheral. We all have peripheral vision. Fun fact, women actually have wider peripheral vision. I haven't had women's eyes, I don't know. And I don't know if we have studies on this, if there's potential to read faster, but whatever your gender, you should be able to look at one word and recognize the words next to it. So if there's 15 words on a line, you don't have to look at all 15 words. You can look at, the third word, then the sixth word, or you can do one, 2, 4, 6, 8, and just look at one extra word on each side at a time. You should be able to do that without losing comprehension. Actually, one funny thing is if you go faster, you actually have the potential to learn more faster. Too slow makes your brain more likely to wander. Okay, so the eye technique. Now, what about sub-vocalization? This is interesting. Sub-vocalization is the tendency, or is the act of basically thinking the words out loud. It's called sub-vocalization because even if your lips aren't moving, usually you can detect some movement in your throat. Now, there's some myth in this because a lot of the speed reading resources will tell you that you want to read at such a speed, and this is kind of beyond I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but I think the average person speaks 140 words per minute or something like that. And then beyond 200 or so, you're not going to be able to speak out loud. So the goal of speed reading is one possible goal of speed reading is to eliminate sub-vocalization so that you're reading. Now we're entering the dog zone. Eliminate Yeah, there's just gonna be dogs barking now. I don't know, you probably won't be able to hear that. Anyways, eliminate subvocalization by just reading so fast that you can't speak the words out loud. This turns out to be a myth. A lot of people say that they don't subvocalize. It's been found that everyone does from what I've said. So I don't necessarily trust anecdotes. I don't necessarily trust my brother who tested 170 IQ, 169 IQ at 14, 13, and got a 1600 out of 1600 on the SAT. He reads extremely fast, says he doesn't subvocalize. I believed him for the longest time, but a lot of the research that I've seen that comes out says that's not entirely true. And he's modified it and said sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. I mess around with this, and I'll tell you what I learned. And one thing that's helped with me is reading out loud. I've done more reading with friends, partners, and reading by myself and reading aloud. And like I noticed, wow, I read so much slower out loud. How can I speed it up? And I'm going to speed up reading as well. Well, when it comes to subvocalization, you're probably going to have to do it. It seems like you are, but you don't have to subvocalize every word. This is the key. Just like you don't have to look at every word, you don't have to, when you see the number 10,789, you can just look at that word and then keep moving, right? It's a lot easier to read numbers and comprehend them than just silently than it takes forever to sound them out, right? So that's one example. But you can kind of keep the structure of the sentence, cut out possibly consonant or conjunctions, maybe cut out some smaller segments of the sentence, while still keeping the structure, and you scan them and kind of understand them. And this is when it comes to both subvocalization and reading out loud, is one thing I've realized. You don't have to read every word for it to be understandable. And when you kind of read ahead and cut things out, it allows you to not only read faster, but I feel that actually reading fast and retention go well together. And I feel like this is probably true because a lot of the fastest readers test the highest on comprehension. So you get both, and that's the goal. And so that's my new technique for 2018. And the previous stuff I said, like you're trying to read so fast that you don't subvocalize, that's kind of debunked. It doesn't seem to be true. But just like you don't have to focus your eye on every single word in order to read, you don't have to subvocalize or speak out loud every single word to understand a sentence. So that's a huge thing. The next time you're reading, look at this. And pay attention to what words you're looking at with your eyes. Pay attention to what words you subvocalize. Be strategic about what words you look at and what words you choose to subvocalize. I don't know, I'm going to estimate that I look at half the words and I subvocalize 80% of the words, or 75%. But just that allows me to read, 20% faster, a little bit faster, without noticeably reduced comprehension, possibly improved. So it's worth doing. And one thing, if you made it this far, like I definitely believe this is worth doing. Even if you're older, it's a pain because your comprehension goes down at first, your speed goes down at first as you're trying to understand the new techniques and new methods. But it won't be that long till everything speeds up and you'll have the feeling that, yeah, that was totally worth it. So those are my new speed reading techniques that I've learned and shared. And again, I really learned this from reading out loud a lot more over the last 6 months. It was like trying to figure out how to read out loud faster and then realizing the connection between that and subvocalizing just enough words to keep the structure and understanding. So hope you found that useful. Hope that allows you to read faster. I know my enjoyment goes up. I'm more inspired to read knowing that I'm fast now, and that wasn't always true. I used to believe that I was slow because my brother was so much faster than me. But fortunately, I didn't give up, and I looked into some resources and tried to train. I'm not a naturally fast reader, but I've trained myself to become fairly fast, and that's been very worth it. And I want to share that with you, because if you're able to do that, you'll also be inspired and motivated to not only to basically to read more and to read more books. And this shit is useful. It's really paid off for me. All the books I read on entrepreneurship have really helped my business. All the books that I've read on social and society and psychology and relationships have really helped not only my relationships, but my business. All the books that I've read on health and fitness, all the books that I've read on self-development, all the biographies and adventure books, they're all downloaded into my brain now, and my life is a lot different and better because I had done that. And yeah, it took a lot of time, but I think it's worth it. And it's taken less time because I chose to study these techniques, and it's taken will take less time in the future because I chose to study these techniques. Also, if you're a speed reader, let us know what you think in the comments. We would love to hear. You may be faster than me, you may be a natural, you may do some crazy shit that we don't know about, and I would be happy to hear. So holler at us in the comments. Appreciate you, much love, and speak soon.